Mary Melon was born in 1961 in Rapid City, South Dakota, at Ellsworth Air Force Base to Bob and Judy Greiner. Her dad was a pilot, so moving was a way of life. But they lived the longest period of their life in Okinawa, Japan.
We were so close to what was happening, and I remember vigils at neighbors' houses when planes would be shot down, and we would all be waiting to see what was going to happen, and we lost friends. So they were a different childhood than a lot of people have.
Mary was the youngest of 3 children, and her favorite thing to do on the island was swim.
I started swimming competitively when I was 7. The weather was so good, so I was in the pool anytime I could be in the pool. And the more competitive I got, the more I worked with my coaches. I had 2-a-day practices. I just lived for that. So outside of thinking that I would win an Olympic medal and marry Mark Spitz, I also thought that I wanted to be a marine biologist. And we lived on an island, so we spent a lot of time at the coast also, and I just loved exploring and finding creatures and that kind of thing.
Her father moved them to Oklahoma when Mary was 15. She graduated from Yukon High School, went to OU, and a few years after graduation, married a college friend and moved to Kansas. Sadly, after 5 years, the marriage ended. Mary moved back to Oklahoma with her 3-year-old daughter, Madison. She went to work for the Journal-Record, left shortly before the bombing, and then felt a strong need to return.
So I took my resume in and to the new ownership and said, I used to work here, I was good here, and I think you need me. So they hired me back as advertising director, and it was June of 1995 by then, and staff here were still really suffering. They were displaced from the Journal-Record building into Oklahoma Tower. They were working in temporary offices with wires hanging and boxes stacked, and it was a tough time, and tough time emotionally for so many of them. So what I brought back was, I knew these people. I hadn't been through the bombing, but I had this empathy for them because I knew them and I knew what they were going through and I knew their business. So I came in and just got to work trying to build things back, and that's what we did.
She became associate publisher in '97, and in 2001 she was offered the position of publisher. Her passion for public health programs is contagious to her staff and peers. She loves recognizing women in leadership roles and describes a special program empowering women in other countries called Peace Through Business.
We work with women business owners in these countries that have been ravaged in so many ways. Rwanda by a horrible genocide in 1994 that killed nearly 1 million people in 100 days, and in Afghanistan where there's still so many issues and women are still so held back. And not that I think that we have it all figured out in the United States, but being part of helping these women with real issues like worrying about how, if they're going to have internet connectivity, and worrying about how they can import or export goods, worrying about so many things that we really take for granted. It's been such an eye-opening experience for me, and such a wonderful personal journey to get to know these women from other countries, because I believe we are all so connected and we can help each other.
Mary's help doesn't stop with women around the world. She and her family also are part of Pilots and Paws, a rescue program that helped dogs get placed across state lines. Mary's husband, Eric, flies the plane. Mary describes the man she calls the love of her life.
He took on a lot, because he took on my daughter, and he took on my mother, who had lived with me for quite a while, and he had an instant family, and the man is a saint. He's just such a special guy. He adopted Madison when she was 12 years old, and it happened perfectly. They'd been close before that, but she asked him to, which made it extra special.
Mary's mom still lives with them along with their 4 dogs. This compassionate, loving, intelligent, highly disciplined, and very capable leader is an inspiration to everyone she meets, which is why Mary Melon is this year's recipient of the Oklahoma City University's Meinders School of Business President's Award.